Hi, I'm Phyllis, and I'm the artist. I lived through World War II as a child, and you could look at me and say, oh, well, you don't look your age, but I'm really old. And there's a lot up in my head that I want to pass, and I don't want it to go away, because history is history and it needs to be spoken about, drawn about, whatever about. I want to talk about what happened to me. My son-in-law, John Bruick, asked me if he wanted to take a trip with him, 3 weeks crossing Europe, following the troops. Well, with the background that I had, I said, yes, I'll go with you. That's pretty crazy. Your son-in-law is taking your mother-in-law on a trip for 3 weeks, but we did have a wonderful time, and we did cross Europe following some of the troops. When I came back, I wanted to give him a present of doing this. This was the most wonderful thing he could do for me, knowing my past. And so I started the St. Mary Glee's Church, which was very prominent in D-Day and everything that happened when we first started out to save the world. I'm called to my painting sometimes at 2 o'clock in the morning. I get up and this painting's sitting on the patio waiting to be painted on, and I go out to the patio and I start painting. And what I'm painting tonight is like the shadow. This shadow and this roof. And I step back, and what do I see? I see a ghost. A ghost has come into my picture, and I didn't paint him. Guess what? This is not my son-in-law's picture anymore. I feel this is the picture that belongs to everyone and should be out there. So as I painted it, I finished it. It probably took me 9 months to paint this picture. Went to the gallery where I paint. My instructor says, now you're gonna take that out, aren't you? And I said, no. So I wanted you to know that this has been shown. I worked at Nova University. It had been shown there. And little stories about it. I had a student who had to watch the painting to make sure it didn't disappear. And a woman came up to the painting, and she's looking at it, and she starts crying. And he says, excuse me, ma'am, why are you crying? And she looks at him and she says, I'm French. So now I'm seeing what this painting is doing. I'm also in a group of people that are going out to dinner. I did sell these giclées to some people, bought them and gave them as gifts. And I'm sitting with about 20 people. And all of a sudden, one woman turns to the other woman and said, Phyllis is the person that painted your picture. She turns white. And she gets up from her seat and she comes around to me and she hugs me and she said, thank you for giving me my father. He was in one of those planes that went over there. What's going on here? What is going on with this painting, I think? It goes on story after story where I meet people who have relatives that have experienced World War II. I'm sitting in the Fort Lauderdale airport 3 days ago, and I'm talking to this lady, and I said, oh yeah, I'm going to Illinois, and I'm gonna have a show, and I wrote a book about World War II. She looks at me, and she said, my father was in a submarine on D-Day, at Pearl Harbor. I said, you're kidding. She said, yeah, when they started bombing the submarines that were there, got the heck out of there. So they were saved. They saw what was going on and got out of there. She goes to her phone and she pulls up a picture of her father in the Navy suit standing there. What happens is all these people have family that have experienced World War II, one way or another, want to tell you, want you to know how they feel what you're doing. What are you doing? You're saving history, and you have a lot of people that are out there, and the minute you open this page up and say, I'm doing this, it all floods out. It's somebody to talk to, and it's wonderful. So my experiences with these paintings, mostly this one really gets people, is they want to talk about it. They want to show you pictures of them, and they appreciate what you've done. And I appreciate what I've done. It just happened. This is the first painting I did for John. He never got the painting because it wasn't his anymore, because it didn't belong, because this ghost, one person stood there and said, well, who do you think he's there for? And I said, everybody. He's not there for one person, he's there for the whole world. But anyways, it's taken 2.5 years to do what I did, and researching all of the places that I visited was really a great thing for me. I enjoyed it. My grandparents were all killed in Russia. I have a connection, and it was very important that I do this, and I did it to leave to my children. But people are really thirsty for information, and they don't want history to die, and that's why I loved what I did. And I hope you do too. And every place here I have visited, and I have memories of the people were wonderful. All the people were so wonderful there, but not during World War II. It was amazing. Have any questions? No?
What's your favorite painting?
What's my favorite painting? My painting place. That I just did. Yeah, that's my painting place with a glass of wine.
That's good.
Yeah. What is my painting? I appreciate all of them because they all mean something to me. They're all important to me. My imagination is important to me. I put things in the paintings that I don't take a portrait and paint it. If I take a portrait and paint it, I just use it as reference. And then, like that one, I had put a paratrooper jumping into the picture, not knowing that actually that existed, a dummy paratrooper. So I just go with the flow. Every day the painting looks different until I'm done with it. They're all my favorite while I'm doing. Anything else? Hi.
How do you know when you're how do you know when you're done?
Good
Painting tells me.
question.
The painting will tell me when I'm done. Where I can't paint anything anymore, it's done. And then I go on to another painting, and I love that painting, and that does the same thing for me. I work on it and work on it until I can't paint anymore. And they change every day. But these paintings are different. They're based on pictures that we had on our trip across Europe. Anything else?
Just a comment, actually it's very educational
Yes.
to read about your paintings, and I guess I didn't realize there were that many graves at Normandy.
As you cross Europe, there's graves everywhere. Normandy is nothing. There's plaques and graves across Europe like you wouldn't believe, right, Chuck?
Yeah.
You wouldn't believe what's going on there. And plus all the graves we have here. The saddest place was empty benches when we went to World War I cemetery. And the music playing on a carillon was Johnny Come Marching Home over and over and over again. There was no one there. Absolutely no one there. Graves everywhere. And they were for World War I. So Europe is covered with graves. And yes, it is historical. And this was for my family because my father would never talk about living in Russia. And my family were all killed there. He got out. Maybe that's why he had guilt. I don't know. But I'm thrilled that I was doing it and I did it for my family, but people are starving for this. They're really wanting to know more about it. And if I show somebody a painting in a book, they'll say to me, oh, I want to know more, and they'll go Google and see more. So it works. Giving them a little information, let them go on and find out more, and let this not happen again. Never again. Anything else? No? I appreciate, right? I appreciate the Fuller Dome giving me the opportunity to have all of my paintings from this trip of mine. And I appreciate that. And I thank them very much. They're very open-minded and very smart. Thank you.
Yay.
And I'm glad you came and passed the word because it is educational and I think that we need a little education so it doesn't happen again. Anything else? Okay.
Oh.